My left eye started twitching again and I was worried, but it stopped! So I'm here! I need my phone stand so it can sit to the side. Sora slept in here for hours and then he decided to leave and then came back. And then he tried to go into the closet and I can't have him in the closet. He and Callie very much enjoy my closet and they don't need to be in there. Wake up. But anyway, last week we finished off right here and we need to go into Soseki-san's apartment because Sholmes is allegedly in there. But yeah, I've been submitting. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to turn it on eventually. But yeah, I've been submitting Dr. Pepper receipts today from the last about month or so of my purchasing because I am an addict and I would really like to have some of the dark berry flavor and not just the one can that I got. But I'm going to be watching all the store's apps this week and their websites and watching to see if they get it. But I suppose we'll move on. Oh, a new location has been added. Let me just do something really quick. This is just to be safe. Oh, come back up, please. Just to be safe. So that our sound doesn't get behind. My room is a little bit warm. All of a sudden. Fix that. Oh, I'm going to be house sitting 2 weeks from Friday, starting there. The Darkberry, oh my gosh, yes, it's that good. It was out in 2019 when Spider-Man Far From Home was releasing. It was a special flavor and then it disappeared because it was limited edition. And then they brought it back with I think it's Jurassic World Dominion is the new movie, with logos and patterning for that. I'm very excited. I want it. I need to find it. Nobody has it yet, and I'm sad. But if somebody does have it at some point, I'm going to have to place a pickup order, and if it's while I'm working, my mom said she would go and pick it up for me, so thanks to my mom if I get it. But yeah, it's that good. My sister and my brother-in-law both really liked it too, so we were all very excited. And from my Instagram and from her husband's Twitter, we each got 1 can so far. We only have 2 cans, and I'm not opening my can because it's special. Limited edition, like the Fantastic Chocolate flavor, which is weird. I haven't tried the Fantastic Chocolate, and I don't really intend to. I just thought it was cool, but anyway, I'm going to be house sitting in a couple weeks. The 20th is when I go down to my sister and brother-in-law's house, and then we're going to be able to stream without much interruption. Oh, hello, ma'am. May I help you? Yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb? Indeed it would, sir. And who, may I say, is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? Oh, we would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garrideb. I hope I'm saying his name right. I need to turn on my fan. I'm hot. All of a sudden. Hopefully that's not too much background sound. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid! I know! As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh! Oh, this day just keeps getting better! It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrideb will see you now. This way. Oh. Is that him? I'm scared. Look at his hair. Hold on, though. No, not that. We need to examine everything. This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. That old thing, yes. Just a cheap piece of ironmongery. Gimcrack, really. I don't know these words. Oh. Used it when I was studying, don't you know? From my commission. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really, but, well, still has its uses sometimes. Of course. Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it? They're memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories. Maybe we should talk to him before examining everything. Good day to you. John Garrideb at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back at the Battle of Maiwand. Maiwand? Don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Headed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garrideb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan, and let these good people see it properly? Joan, fetch them! Oh my. Dash it, old woman, be careful! Oh, dearie me! I do beg your pardon, sir. You jolly near took the skin off my hands! I shall be more careful, sir. So, anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We've forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around here, you know. In this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Ranced magazine here, so... no. Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance, it is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all the fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Okay. I don't know what to think of you so far. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrideb, please, do tell us. Ah yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then. I have 2 lodgers most of the time. One on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There'd been... Dash it all, Joan! Do be careful! Oh, my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion... I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written all across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. He's stirring his tea with his pipe. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes! Oh, yes, indeed there was! And she's dying to tell us. Ah, my hand hurts already! The shady lodger. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Not orchid, orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh, does she like him? Maybe? Or is it just that because she's the maid? I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level. Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed. Good grief, Joan! Be more careful, woman! Oh, my goodness, sir! I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. The incident 2 days ago. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? The window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrideb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir, it would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well... Yes, was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing! Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrowhollow. Oh, yes. I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garrideb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Joan, dash it all, what is the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garrideb. What is the matter with these two? It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what? I wish I knew. These two are crazy. I don't know what to make of them. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly, just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak? Yes, told me Nuts' name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we had a look around? If we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again! Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Now we will examine the room. Or attempt to. Why does he have a cannon in here? I just realized it's a cannon. That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real! I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? Pah, that's little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? It isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well in the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. I don't know what to make of these characters, especially compared to characters from the other six games. I shouldn't say first, because I think Spirit of Justice came out like just a year before this one. Books! I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. I'm excited to see Sholmes again. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Ha! Not much better than rags, really. Oh? Wore that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past, me. We've gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Not a bad idea. That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say. Although it bothers me that's not straight. What, that old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it. The general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the bally thing out of my way. So it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look! Let me see. It says, "For distinguished participation." Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge of military circles. portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah, yes, seemed to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Sotosen doesn't pull her punches, or her throws for that matter. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could it be, I wonder? What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem, ahem! Oh, that was the maid. Ahem, ahem! Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Interesting. Got two more to look at here. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my! A genuine London dresser! Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... oh dear, it's in pieces! It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder... perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Yes, probably something like that. But let's not delve too deeply here. Ah. Whoa. Oh, my stuff's all behind. Hold on. It'll fix itself in a second. There we go. This window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. Sorry. As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. It seems very unlikely that these two would have seen anything of the incident then. They're lying! They have to be! But why? Why would they be lying? A kitty! Oh, a kitty cat! Just look at this place! And smell it! It's so musty in here! I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garrideb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Oh, it's silent! Wow. Look at the kitty! Is he hiding somewhere? Sholmes, I mean. Okay, I'll be right back. I need just two. Well, I need a couple minutes. I'll be right back, though. Sorry, I had to leave it with no sound, but I don't like that there's no music here anyway. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home! It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsui didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Dharma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Probably, I don't know why. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Though all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So, really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Yeah, definitely would be. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. Looks like the wastepaper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Let's not, then. I'm saving the cat for last, if I can. Well, that desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh, yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look. And the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Oh, the receipt has been added to our court record. Oh, there's old Sholmesy. Oh, so cute! Oh, bye! Oh my, what an adorable little cat! Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared to that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Bye-bye, kitty. Sholmes, hello! Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. You two, good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria. Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asugi, he died. Tragically. But you were a great help to us. Yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asugi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, what? Well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madame. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, he was so close. I lose the first round. Ah, sir. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short of an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, for an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression! My dear madame, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Ah! Why are you the way that you are, sir? We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. I can't believe he was looking Susato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt from around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties. Hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no! Oh dear. Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garrideb, retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. betoken their social standing. Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it's for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrideb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstance of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost in what he means to say. Ow. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but it's sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I could clearly see that there is a window of sorts, but it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in the country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed up windows, while the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh. Still, that is of little relevance here. I'm a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? So I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes. Trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Why is he laughing? Oh, my dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, and I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrideb is? Mr. Sholmes did as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, up to the present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garrideb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, thank you, Sholmes. I hope we can figure something out, even though you were kind of useless. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Should we go back up to Mr. Garrideb's room? Oh, it looks like that was correct. Oh, what did you have? Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard to work down there? Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bolly while doing? I shall be doing... word. I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind. Wait, what? Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb is hiding something. And since no other venues of investigation seem open to us at the time, perhaps we should do some digging. Digging into what, though? Into what? Oh, your food looks so good. I think we're having tomato sandwiches for dinner, which is fine by me. I really actually want one. What is he doing? What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes? Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. So you deserve to sit and eat it. It looks delicious. I am actually getting hungry. So once we reach a point where this says to be continued, I probably will stop for today, because I'll probably take us into court. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Sholmes, sir? At your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet, sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture. An aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up there. Well, keeping an eye to one's window at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There's just enough time for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. One second. I have to enter this giveaway on Instagram. Give me a second. I have to enter the Quest Nutrition giveaway because I love their stuff. Their stuff is so good. Okay, I'm entered. Mr. Garrideb, though it would seem you're a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you've lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How? How could you possibly? How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts! Oh. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present Logic and Reasoning Spectacular! He really does! It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with the military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrideb, leads us directly to the answer. The lion. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. I don't think that's correct. Yes, though an armed man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, if I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? Hey, he has a mark on his face. Yes, living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. Look, Sherlock Holmes is online, while we're playing as Herlock Sholmes. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lying, Mr. Garrideb. At the Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I've observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Oh, he's so far off base, isn't he? I don't know what it could be unless it's Natsume's cat, but I suppose we will find out. Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man! I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Ah. 4 cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Whoa. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Oh, unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Hey, no, that's the candle that's missing from the, candelabra. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it's you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. No, Sholmes, right next to it! Oh, really? Interesting. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatisfied appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. So far off base, sir. Sir, please. You're such a himbo. You're worse of a himbo than Beat. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Ugh. Sir, you're so much more of a himbo than Beat is. Look at their faces! They're like, what? What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me! Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrideb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too. From crying because they're laughing. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? Again. Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But, if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt. Or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using the large cannon. I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on great British soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it! Excellent! I've been waiting for my trusty partner deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. He's a himbo! Got to start again, from the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. Ugh, my throat hurts. Yes, hold it, Mr. Sholmes. You're making massive mistakes. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that the fearsome beast has been on the rampages of late within these four walls. Thus we're faced with the question, what form might the beast take? To the answer, he thinks it's the lion. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. I bet it's not Natsume's cat. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Well, I think the only thing he could be looking at either is a photograph frame or the mortar shells. Oh. What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. Is his bride the maid? No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply here. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. It's the maid! I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look! Have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. Looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. The maid is his wife! These are shells for the cannon, are they? Hold on, I'll go back to it. What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrideb from his time in the army. Ah, of course. He mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember? He said he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him? If a round that size had hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it. Or Mr. Garrideb, for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper, and this man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. What am I looking at? This must have been when Mr. Garrideb was still in the army. He seems to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly, and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now. He's as thin as a rake. I don't know what to present. Should I present the bride?
Take that!
The music stopped! That's a good thing! Ah, look at his face! The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Oh, yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And while we will lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, indeed. Surely any woman of such powerful constitution will be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garrideb. He has a slap mark on his face. He did something bad. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. I think it's her hand. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garrideb anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. Ah! Look, it is her! It is her! Oh, you thought he had the cat dressed up! I got it! Okay. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. It's on the right finger of her left hand. It's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means it's surely a wedding ring. Looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not to say. Do you know, Mr. Garrideb's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one. It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? It's not a coincidence at all! She's his wife! Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Oh. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrideb herself. Oh my word! Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker back. Ah! You deserved that. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. Well, I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you! I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it was a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have even a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considerate opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garrideb has his wife, work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrideb? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Well, that's one done. Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress of this loss has caused you is veritably intangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Nope, it's the slap on his face. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true! So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. She slapped him! According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? You don't slap your partner, male or female! That's wrong! Don't slap people!
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. I love the smirk that Ryunosuke has. And, of course, the delivery of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madame Joan Garrideb? Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. How the blazes! How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, hmm. Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subject to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Nope. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing! Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Because some people can't control their emotions. Or just, oh, not very kind people. Uh-oh. What is this bookmark? Why does it look? It has a kiss mark! Ah, somebody must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, too. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. No, so it isn't. It's a note, written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Oh, no! And look next to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Uh-oh! Uh-oh!
Take that!
I feel like this is all a big misunderstanding. And this actually belongs to somebody else and it just got stuck in a book that was purchased. Because I've borrowed books from the library that have stuff stuck in them, like the book, like the previous person's bookmark or a post-it note they left in the book. It's probably a misunderstanding, but it also may not be. But no, you still don't slap your partner though. Does not matter. I will die on that hill. I'm paying attention to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff. Doesn't matter. You don't hurt your partner. Fight with them all you want. Yell at them, but don't slap them or throw things at them. Because, yeah, lots of bad stuff can happen, especially considering all the stuff that came out about Amber Heard being an absolutely horrible person. Oh, shoot. I should have read that. I meant to read that. Yes, it is the love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Wait, his name is John. Isn't it? So it has to not be his. Isn't his name? It's John. That's not... It's not a love letter for him. She didn't read it. It says James. Oh, it really is. The whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing is really a mess. But all the evidence is pointing towards her having lied about him physically abusing her. From what I've seen, because a lot of people that saw her after she, like, within days, or within the day after she claims it all happened, they're all saying that she lied and they never saw any marks or anything, and that they didn't see any makeup that proved anything, and a makeup company actually came out and said she was incorrect, or at least lied, because she claimed she used a product from them and it didn't exist at the time. So, yeah. But she's apparently going to try and take the stand this week, and I don't think I'm not going to watch that. I can't stand the woman. She looks so awful and just smug and full of herself and everything I see. Like, she thinks she's going to win just because she's a woman. And, like, yeah, the courts are biased towards women, but we'll see what happens. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. It's not his note, though! It's not for him! But I don't know the Polly woman! You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me! It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah! A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. So, the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's what I've been saying. A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. A likely story. Dark, are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable